Hey, True Believers, England Teen here with another Top 10 Tuesday. And we're not talking about this. This was a review I did, and I realized I had that old background up too late. So, whoops. One thing you should never expect around here is professionalism. I think I've proven that, Eric. What do you say?
Nobody's going to be looking behind you.
Nobody's going to, well, not even me. And that's actually the good thing. But yes, in a little bit, I will be posting my review of Static #1 on, hey, well, at least I can, at the very least, I can pimp out my next video over on Old Man Comics. But yes, I'll be reviewing Static #1. So by all means, please check that out. I think there you go. Okay, this is, but that is actually a thing that's happening. All right. So anyway, tonight is Top 10 Tuesday, and we are talking about the top 10 comic book characters that did not appear on their own first appearances. And this, I thought, I wonder if this will be too inside baseball. I mean, we've got a lot of really hardcore comic book collectors, but is this one that'll be like, oh my gosh, I got to do research and kind of, because it's a little bit deeper than who's your favorite Avenger.
Well, fortunately, they're all going to be names that everybody recognizes.
That is true.
And since, when he springs this on me without, we talked about this, but then we decided, I didn't know we were doing it tonight, so I only had a couple minutes to come up with a list, which means I forgot some major ones. So there's going to be so
many major ones that wouldn't make it out of the sheer number of comic books.
So at least there's going to be, our lists aren't going to overlap a lot. So we're going to hit you with about 15, 16 or so that.
Yeah. And I think so as well. I think this is going to be a good time because it's a lot of them. Yeah, it's going to be things that I think people are aware of and people know, but then it's going to be a lot of also just not as much, or maybe you didn't think about it, or maybe it's like, oh my gosh, that character is so huge. How was it that they didn't get a first appearance?
Yep.
I guess I think by messing around, I'm kind of gonna start us off. I just realized I was messing around with my backgrounds, but so I guess I'm starting off right now because I was like, oh, I want to add these on as we go, and I was gonna load them and then use them, but apparently that's not the way it works. So my first pick is this right here, which is X-Men 129, the first appearance of one of my favorite X-Men, Kitty Pryde. Which I don't know if you would count her as a major player in the X-Men, but yeah, as I said, I kind of dig on the character myself.
Oh, I absolutely consider her a major figure. Even if she didn't have one in her first appearance.
All right. Hey, and by the way, we're getting a comment that MK is digging on your Batman shirt or whatever that is.
Justice League.
Justice League. Okay, with the wings on the back. All righty. Hello to Joseph Pulford, Zach Richmond, Dominic. Oh, and by the way, I know I jumped the gun by playing around here, but make sure that you're counting along. I do a vote. And at the end of the day, your vote will count in the next countdown video on Old Man Comics, or at least in 2 weeks. I'm like a week behind, so there you go. I just got done tallying up the scores for the top 10 Best Avengers video. So your vote does count. Let your voice get heard, and keep track with us. But yeah, my number 10, Kitty Pryde, I think that she came out of the gate running. To the point where even though I think the professor was so justified into putting her into the New Mutants, I didn't want her to because she was such a staple of the X-Men by issue number 170.
And I'm pretty sure that she actually did not end up joining the New Mutants.
167. I'm sorry. I think it was. Yeah, 167. 168 was Professor Xavier's a jerk.
Yeah, and then she just went over to New Mutants 13, I think, and then I don't think I think he ended up changing his mind.
Yeah, it lasted like that's not even a little bit. All right, so who do you have for number 10?
The only one that's not a superhero or villain, Lois Lane.
Oh, wow! That's a big gun.
Arguably the most famous supporting character in the history of comics, and her first appearance was
arguable.
Action Comics #1, and I'm sure it was a brief appearance. I have to go back and look again. I don't even know if she was mentioned by name, but that her first appearance was the same as Superman's.
Oh, that's right. So Action Comics #1, kaboom, and she doesn't get an appearance on the cover. That is because see, I actually was thinking about that. I was like, there's got to be a character that debuted, and I didn't think put in Lois Lane or somebody. I was thinking Zatara. Could you do that? But I've got Zatanna going if you're going to do that. So I don't know. Let's see. Zach says this is going to be a night that I'm not terribly knowledgeable on. That might actually be the case. It might just be you and I, and I'll have to do a video of you and I talking about stuff on the other one. I don't know if we're going to get too many things. So there we go. We got Joe Rogers chiming in. He says Mystique, and the first appearance of her was in Ms. Marvel #16. All righty. That's not a bad pull there. In all honesty, that one right out of my head. That's why I was saying there's homework to be done when we're talking about these, because it was like, wait a second, did they appear on it? Did they appear? But that's kind of the fun of it to me, it's being able to look up stuff and going, okay, one thing that I didn't put on here because I know there's a debate about it was Incredible Hulk 180.
Yeah, we could get lost in the weeds if we started doing that. So
one day we'll actually have to have that debate or a video talking about it. Let's get that going on. Let's see. Joseph is saying his number 10 is Quasar. All righty. And what did Quasar debut in?
It says Hulk 234, but I thought his first cover appearance was on Captain America 217. I thought that was his first appearance, but he wasn't called Quasar, so I guess that's.
Didn't he appeared first as Marvel Boy, right?
No, that was they called him that for lack of a better name, and when he was in that SHIELD training group, where half of them turned out to be enemy agents. But I guess 234 maybe it's the first. It says
here 234, 1979. Yeah, okay.
As the name Quasar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. And that was first appearance as Quasar.
And then we've got Dominic saying number 10, Mondo of Generation X. Okay. See, I think this is one of those that we could be all over the place with. Because like I said, there's so many huge characters, not to mention the small ones like say Robbie Robertson. You could go side characters all you want and just fill up a top 10 worth of supporting players. You talk about supporting players, it's like what about sidekicks who didn't appear on their hero's first appearance? Things like that. That might actually. I'm not talking about Robin because he's right there. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff like that. I could have said like Speedy as well as Green Arrow or something like that. So should still be an educational experience. Not even CBR has a list of first appearances who aren't on the cover. Hey, I finally beat them to a top 10 list because let me tell you, they do this thing where they have everybody writing for them. So, like, you'll go, hey, I've got a great top 10 list for CBR. And CBR is like, yeah, thank you. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Thank you. Okay, here's your $20. And we're going to rake in the rest of the cash for the views and clicks on the ads we got. It's brilliant. I love it. But that's the way they do things. Let's see. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, let's go on over to number 9. And I myself have to admit that I'm a little bit showy about this one because I managed to pick myself up a first appearance of Zatanna. Yes, I say Zatanna. Thank you very much. Rather than Zatanna, as everybody else does. But issue number 4 of Hawkman, which this is the cover right behind me, absolutely has no Zatanna on the cover. It's Hawkman falling to his doom, and I'm like, wait, it has wings. Why is he falling to his doom? He's got wings. It doesn't make sense. This cover doesn't even. It's not even a thing. But here's the thing, you know, first page. That's why I don't mind having a coverless copy of it. Excuse me, I forgot the word copy. I don't mind having the first a coverless copy of the first appearance of Zatanna because, boom, right there on the splash page, first appearance of Zatanna. She's like central right there. There is nothing barring. She's not in the background doing something. It's just boom. We just drew her standing there. So my number 9, Zatanna. Also, not to mention the fact that, come on, everybody loves Zatanna. I don't know anybody who's like, you know what? No, Zatanna, screw her. I want a female magician from Marvel, whoever that is. Oh, Scarlet, what's her name? Okay, so anywho, who do you have for your number 9 there, Eric?
Venom.
Okay.
Yeah, no, 252 doesn't count with the symbiote suit. His first appearance as Venom. Last page of Spider-Man 299 or full appearance Spider-Man 300. Doesn't matter what on the cover of either one.
If we can't do a 180, I ain't doing 299.
Well, that's what I said. He wasn't on the cover of 300 either. In fact, he didn't make his first cover appearance until 316. So, I was trying to use, I didn't want to go that recent, but I figured that, you know, like it or not, he is a gigantically huge character now. So I guess I'll mention him.
Well, I don't really want to. I mean, come on. He was a good Spider-Man villain.
As Oberon used to say, mutter, mutter, grumble.
Right. Venom to me is a mediocre anti-hero, but he was a really good Spider-Man villain. I remember reading those adventures, his first few appearances, going, oh, hell, how are they going to get Spider-Man out of this? You know, it was a decent first few appearances.
They were. Problem is, it happened in the decade that Marvel really developed a penchant for running popular ideas into the ground.
Yeah, once they tried to make Sabretooth an anti-hero, it's like, guys, no, we're done. We're done. This was one bridge too far. Come on back. Come on, reel it in. Reel it in. Yeah, that was a little bit too much. I'm waiting to see if anybody's got a number 9 for us. Like, no, we're good. We kind of stalled at number 10.
Joe's got one.
All righty, here we go. Let's see, Tim Drake, Batman 436. All righty, I know he was on the cover of his first appearance as Robin, but he was not on the cover of his first appearance. All righty.
Get Joe Rogers.
Oh, yeah, I got Sabrina from Archie's Madhouse 22. You could actually fill a top 10 list of Archie characters, too. Let's see, Archie and Betty and Veronica. And, yeah, so. But, yeah, that's not too shabby. But remember, guys, bring in your count. Even if you're a little bit behind, even if you have to look up a few things and you're like, okay, I like this topic. I want to talk about this topic. Even if you're a little bit behind, fill it in. I'll include it, and it'll go forward into the video when I make it. Number 9, one of my favorite comic book characters. I love Silver Age stuff, and I love the fact that we're doing the Silver Age stuff over on our Thursday stories, and our Friday stories and such. And this is one of those where, yes, I'm going to be cheating a little bit because this comic book has 2 huge first appearances. And so I'm going to start off with one I think is a little less than the other one. And that is More Fun Comics number 73, the one behind me here. And the first appearance of Green Arrow, which, by the way, we will be doing on our Friday night readings. And I did do a video here on this channel and on Old Man Comics talking about the first appearance. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. But come on, Green Arrow had his own TV show for a while, got popular enough as far as that's concerned. One of those characters that I believe really doesn't have a bad. Well, that's New 52 wasn't great, but I've loved all of his and all of the series that I've read, except for New 52. That's the only one. That's the only one. Also, even though, you know, I'm conservative, I've never hidden that fact. I've never mind reading about Oliver Queen, even though that he's a political person, he's far left, because it just seemed right. And they never faltered on that. That has been him all the way through. So yeah, I think Green Arrow deserves a place on this list. All righty. How about you? Who do you have your number 8? And remember, guys, keep coming in with your list as well.
My number 8, it was your number 9. Zatanna.
All righty.
And there's really no need for me to regurgitate what you just said, because you did it with, you brought more passion than I would have.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't mind talking because, you know, we got time to fill. So anyway, seriously, one thing that wasn't said, and I did bring it up with Green Arrow, is yes, she's had an impact on comics. This is somebody who, for some reason, maybe it's the outfit, maybe there's more to it, but I remember liking Zatanna when she had the lobster on her head. Yes, that happened. Look it up, guys. But she really did have an impact that people just want to read about her, or at least look at her, I guess. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think for years and years, they did give her a couple silly costume changes, kind of like they did with Black Canary. Eventually, they defaulted back to the fishnets for both. But now, Zatanna has been fundamentally altered as a character. That now, like I said, you know, in these times, we can't, male gaze, all that, blah, blah, blah. And she seems to be now kind of best known for being John Constantine's girlfriend, which is unfortunate.
No, she can't be best known for that. I mean, okay, yeah, maybe dating him, yes, fine, but not known for it.
Newer readers probably know her best as that. Because if you've only been reading comics for 5 years, you've never seen the fishnets, because she's in just regular pair of pants and a tank top with a jacket over it. And she's got those like that little ponytail thing. So she doesn't look like Zatanna anymore. And like I said, she's, Constantine's girlfriend. So she doesn't really, I don't know if she even acts like Zatanna anymore. So yeah, but we always have those decades worth of stories where, because I mean, that just fit her character. She's a magician who kind of dresses like the magician's assistant, but that worked for her.
Beyond the Search for Her Father, that one story that went from Hawkman number 4 to Justice League and so forth, does she have one of those? Because we were going to talk about this too before we actually decided to go into the votes thing. We actually did have some inside baseball top 10s to talk about. One of those was going to be heroes that didn't have the great story. Like even Hawkman has Hawkworld, or but I don't know if you would count that as great. Green Arrow has Longbow Hunters. Batman has countless of them, but of course the main one being the Dark Knight. But I was thinking, what are the top 10 heroes that do not have that one great story to point to and go, that's their defining story? Would you say Zatanna is one of those?
I would have to say yes.
Yeah. Okay. Never understood the male gaze crap. Women like looking at sexy women too. I agree. People like to look at attractive people rather than ugly people.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the people who run the comic book industry don't share that belief.
There you go. And Joseph is saying Hellboy, which, by the way, yes, that is the real first appearance. It's just he's a character that evolved, and by the time we got to Next Men, that was basically how he's going to look at in the first place. Joe's saying Zatanna had a great scene in Swamp Thing when she lost her father. She looked better in the fishnets. Some people think so, yeah. I ship Batman and Zatanna, says Joe Rogers. Screw Constantine. Yeah, there you go. Paul Dini always handles Zatanna well, especially in the Detective Comics run, says Ben Lutz. Who looks at ugly superheroes and say, I want to be ugly just like her? I don't think anybody does. And once again, guys, as we're counting down, if you want to join in, you could start at 10, keep it going. I'm taking votes here, and it's going to be in a video on Old Man Comics later. It might just be me and Joe and and I'm forgetting your name, Eric. But there you go. Let's see how to introduce this one. This one is one of those that you could probably argue. Is this really his first appearance? Should it be his first appearance? Because he actually has a first full appearance. This is more of a cameo. And when you're on a freaking device of all things, instead of right there, and it doesn't really count. But my thing is if you have dialogue and your name is spoken, then yes. And that's why my number 7 is going to be Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. Number something or other, which is missing 163.
134.
That's what I said, 134. But there you go. Yeah, Darkseid first appears in Superman, Jimmy Olsen. I actually had it written down somewhere, but I couldn't find it while I was talking. But that's the thing. Would you count this, or is it forever people?
No, I did, and I will later.
Okay, and later we're going to be talking about this as well. Look, you can't get past the fact that Darkseid is DC Comics' big villain. I'm not a big fan of the stories where they nerf him. I'm not a big fan of the stories where even Superman just flies up, knocks him out, or anything like that. No, Darkseid should be the one that people are afraid of. He hasn't destroyed your planet because you guys teamed up, but that's Darkseid to me. I love modern day more than I do in the past when he was just him, and you would have that. But I do enjoy the character. I think he should be the ultimate villain. He should be somebody to be nervous of. You obviously want to say something.
He's overused now.
Okay.
And that kind of, when you're used as much as he is now, you almost get nerfed, whether you mean to nerf them or not.
Yeah. And if you're nerfed too much, you have America Chavez and Squirrel Girl walking up to you and saying, "Hey, Galactus, can I have a cheese sandwich?"
Yeah, it's like the Thanos at Marvel syndrome. Some of the writers, they know that the audience they're going after doesn't have the depth of character knowledge than the audience they threw away, so they kind of use the same villains over and over again. And at DC, it's absolutely Darkseid.
Yeah. I agree. If you make a villain too familiar, it does seem like he's less and less. What did you say, Choker?
Close.
Yeah, okay. By the way, In the Disguise, Joker was not on his first appearance, but we may be talking about that later. We'll say again.
I said that may be mentioned later.
It might be. Is he important enough to make it on a list like this?
Never heard of him.
Yeah. Zatanna's fishnet magician outfit is a definitive classic look, says Dominic. Joker was, however, is In a Disguise says supposed to be a throwaway character. I think he was kind of OP during the New 52 and End of Infinite Frontier. What he did to the multiversal beings, like how powerful is Darkseid now, says MK. Alrighty. And Dominic says number 8 for him is Zatanna. Alrighty. And let's see, wasn't Darkseid and Thanos created by the same guy, Jack Kirby?
No, Thanos, I believe, was created by Jim Starlin.
There you go. And
or one of the Friedrichs. It was Iron Man 55. So just look up and see who wrote that, and there's your answer.
There you go. All righty, let's move on to what your number 7 is. We've talked enough about mine, and we're going to probably talk about him again.
Well, if you want my number 7, just picture the guy to my left, only more intimidating.
Papa Smurf? In a Santa Claus hat?
The Kingpin.
The Kingpin. Oh, okay. All right. Kingpin's younger, less intimidating.
I'm not expecting anything from someone who can't remember his co-host's name.
I have a co-host.
Okay, I forgot my station. You can't remember the name of your kick around kid.
VENKMAN. No. He's gonna fucking.
That'll learn him not to be here to defend.
I know, right? I know, right?
His first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man 50.
Yeah,
and it kind of gets lost considering what else happened in that issue. Whereas today that would be at least a 6-issue arc with probably side issues.
Yeah,
he quits being Spider-Man and takes it back in the same issue. It all makes sense, and you got the Kingpin on top of that. So
yeah, it's a double size issue. So you get a little bit more story, but you're right. They would have had World Without Spider-Man. I thought it was.
No, I think it was just regular size.
No, I remember it being maybe I just had a rolled covered copy back in the day, and that's what I'm remembering. I haven't read it in a while, but I do know you're right that they would be like World Without a Spider-Man, and then it would be what happens with Silk without Spider-Man, what happens to Gwen without Spider-Man. Yeah, these are characters that were created after 213, or
they don't exist.
That I thought were created because crazy. Woo. Joseph is going number 7 with Zatanna, but and you can't look. I understand a lot of people, especially now because the TV show see Daredevil is the main hero for Kingpin. And in all honesty, I think he kind of is a better fit. But classic Spider-Man villain, and it was a classic issue. Great freaking cover. I think it was like for the. I think it definitely made the top 10 for best covers as far as Spider-Man was concerned over in the video on Old Man Comics.
Yeah, this is a bit of a getting off track, but as far as who Kingpin is a better villain for, everybody raves about Frank Miller's Daredevil, and deservedly so.
Yeah.
And they point to the creation of Elektra, the death of Elektra, blah, 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 the resurrection of Elektra. To me, the greatest thing he did in that run was issues 170 through 172, where he brings the Kingpin back, who had retired, and one of his lieutenants conspires to get him to stay. Mm-hmm. And it seemingly kills his wife, and just those issues are just tremendously powerful. And from that moment forward, he's been a Daredevil villain, even though he's been in Spider-Man after that. But to me, he's like Daredevil's main foil at this point.
Well, he did create the Spot. The Kingpin was the one who got the Spot out in the world, so speculators could go freaking crazy because he might have a scene in a movie.
And when he figured out it was his lieutenant that was responsible for the death of his wife, he turned him into a Spot on his desk.
Right. Oh, that one's a good one. Okay. So Zach put out his list so far, and at number 10 he has Gamora. Not a bad, not a bad pick there. Zatanna at number 9. Number 8, Apocalypse from X Factor. Yeah, that's right. He's his cameo appearance is number 5. Does he appear on the cover of number 6? His full appearance. And then we have Mia Dearden, the second Speedy. All right. Okie dokie. And let's see. There's a second Speedy, says Jim Sorensen. But you know what? Let's go on over to I think we talked about. No, that was Kingpin.
You haven't done your number 7 yet, have you?
Yeah, Darkseid. I'm on to number 6 then.
Okay. All right.
Old people trying to remember things, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't bring up that you had 2 number 9s, but that's.
Did I have 2 number 9s?
Yeah, but I'm not going to bring it up.
Wait, I didn't have 2. It was just Zatanna.
No, when you got to number 8, you called it number 9 again.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's old people remembering things, isn't it?
Old people renumbering things.
Renumbering. You're funny.
All
right.
What number are we on?
Yeah, look, this will be brought up again, but let me put this in my background here since we're going to talk about it now. See, right here, we got Batman, or we got Robin, we got Batman right there. This is the cover to Batman number 1, which everybody's like, oh, hey, yeah, that's the first appearance of the Joker. It's the first appearance of Catwoman, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about right here. I think while, yes, we talked about this, Catwoman was a cat thief at the time. She was in like a night dress and a cat head. Not exactly the same character that we got. Although I think technically, yes, you are right. She's a little bit silky. She is a sneak thief. There's an attraction between Batman and her. But she did do a lot of changing here. I love the story that's in here. I really can't wait for us to do that one for our first appearance Fridays. I'm a fan of Silver Age Catwoman, and I don't mind that night dress becoming that little slinky purple number that she wore throughout the rest of the Silver Age and Bronze Age either. But yeah, obviously Catwoman, when you're talking about villains, there's only one, in my opinion, that is as iconic. Well, 2, I guess I would have to say, 1 Batman and 1 Superman. But she is, if you were to make, I know everybody says this, if you were to make a Mount Rushmore of comic book villains, she would have to be on it, in my opinion. Probably with the Joker and Lex Luthor. But her impact on the stories of Batman, I don't think can be understated. I do like the way that they went, where the attraction got even more. I was 100% for the wedding. And I think that's one of the reasons why I felt particularly betrayed when they didn't go through with it, because I thought this will actually affect a lot of change. Like, I just did a review of Detective Comics 1036. Doesn't exist really, but and I said they're trying to break him down, and it's not working. This would have been real change, because it would have been difficult. It would have been good to see them try to keep this thing together, because while I 100% supported the marriage, I 100% also support the fact that the marriage shouldn't work. But there you go. I think Catwoman's iconic and definitely deserves to be on this list. Yeah. He leaves a pause so you could jump in and say something. All righty. Dang it. I'll kill him. See, that's why I don't go to Disney. It'll be like, hey, Englitine, bam. Okay, now we can hang out. All right, yes.
Just trying to figure out what my resignation speech is going to say.
Right.
What number are we on? 6?
We are on number 6, sir.
All right, and once again, to reiterate what my esteemed colleague said just a bit ago, Darkseid. from the aforementioned Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen 134. And yes, the only thing that could have made that first appearance better is if he showed up on Jimmy's signal watch. That would have been cool. But no, I said that's from the most humble of beginnings, which kind of tells you, as we're going to find out a little bit later, Jack didn't make a big deal out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
He really didn't. It just whatever worked in the story as he was doing it, and that was that. I mean, and I know those weren't thought out. I mean, now I'm sure everybody creates characters thinking, ooh, if I get this guy into a movie, I'm going to put another. Yeah. I get a pool. But Jack, like I said, it just, and so I mean that's kind of fitting that he would just pop up in somebody's watch on in a 2-panel first appearance.
I know, right? But hey, like I said, for me, and we got to do another four color fossils. And talk about this, because what institutes a first appearance, and would you count certain, what is actually the real first appearance? I think would be a great topic for it. But I think he fills all the bills. Like I said, dialogue, identified, he appears.
That gets credit for his first appearance,
and
not forever people, number one. So that it counts. Just like that, for whatever reason, the one panel, there's a one page in Hulk 180 doesn't count. For whatever reason, I don't know why it doesn't.
He got dialogue. He was identified. He's there. I know. To me, 180.
I think this was before speculation, and it was his first appearance in Hulk 181. Now now they're saying if you showed up in an issue of Marvel Age or in the previews catalog, that counts as your first appearance.
Yeah, that's
that's all BS at this point. So I think if they went back and redid it, it probably would be Hulk 180, but that's neither here nor there at this point.
Yeah. All righty, let's see. We have Joseph Pulford saying Professor X. Great pull on that one. It's one of those that, X-Men, they're all there, except for one. Professor X himself isn't on the cover.
Never thought of that.
I know, right? Green Arrow from Joe Rogers, which we talked about. More fun, number 73. Dominic Powell comes up with Mr. Sinister. Another X-Men villain. Zach Richmond says Kitty Pryde, which we talked about, X-Men 129. In a disguise once more, campaigning for the cotton candy machine. Right. Good to see you too, tell him. Let's see, Don't Mess with Nightwing. He did appear, by the way, on the first appearance of Nightwing and of Robin. Hello to Ash. What's up? Who are we talking about? Oh, okay, there we go. Who are we talking about on the 180 versus 181 lost track? I'm old too. That would be Wolverine's first appearance. Did you put a scarf on this?
What?
Son, you got a penny on your head. What? How did you do that, and why did you do that?
What are you talking about?
Okay, there we go. All righty, so we got Lorna Marquez as the fourth thoughtful girl, says Aqualad. All righty. Let's move on to number 5. We did a comic book series on our Throwback Thursdays where we talk about famous comic book stories, and it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to talk about it, and it was the Trial of Galactus, where in his first appearance in issue number 48, we have the Silver Surfer, who does not appear on the cover of the comic book at all. Nowhere to be found. And there you go. My number 5 is Silver Surfer, a character I think who is not as big as he should be, to tell you the truth. I mean, obviously with Marvel, with some Marvel readers, he was in a crappy movie. So I don't think general audiences know him the way they know certain characters, like say Rocket Raccoon, of course. But in all honesty, Silver Surfer really should be bigger.
I think since that, for years, nobody was allowed to use him without getting express permission from Stan.
Mm-hmm.
That might have held him back. And now, I know that Cates did something with him recently that was well received. But yeah, just he there. I mean, and he did have about 140 something issue series. Started in '87 and went through the late '90s, but yeah, he just seemed like didn't get used quite as much as, say, a Submariner.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason.
Well, and he had a good '90s run as well. That, of course, he wasn't written by John Byrne at the time, who was just he was all kinds of big back in the day, and Byrne did a Namor story. But still, I like Silver Surfer. Granted, if you ever read his earlier books, it's all, why can't I leave Earth? Oh, woe is me. Stan Lee, God bless him, had one story to tell, and it was just whiny superhero. Changed my mind.
Well, Silver Surfer was his mouthpiece for it when Stan wanted to get his left on, he channeled it through the Silver Surfer.
Oh, there you go.
He stayed pretty neutral and everything else, but he really let it hang out with the Surfer. All
righty. You know what? I brought him up and somebody else did. Also, we have Joseph Pulford saying Namor. Namor's first appearance, Marvel Comics #1. There's Human Torch. No Namor. Let's see. Number 5 for Zach Richmond was Gorilla Grodd. Ash is saying Kate should be doing a new Silver Surfer book, not a dumb Hulk book. And Zatanna says Comic Quirks with Jimmy. All righty. And we had Aquagirl. Y'all can put some numbers beside these also, by the way. Martian Manhunter is a good pick as well, says Zach. Martian Manhunter Detective 225. Yep, that was going to be on my list. I just literally forgot to put it on.
And Ash, there was about 13, 14 years between the Surfer I'm talking about and the Mobius story. So I was talking about the 60s series. Stan was definitely
that is a oops, I wrote Detective 225, not Martian Manhunter on my paper. All righty. That is a good pull though. Let's see. I saw most of the 1980s Silver Surfer cartoons. Wasn't moved by Silver Surfer dude. Let's do. I'll change your mind. Read Stanley's Silver Surfer parable he did with Mobius. Yeah. Once again, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I love Parable. Trust me, I've read it. I bought it off the shelf long before you were born. Not really. He's almost the same age. Let's say let it hang out with the Surfer while he has no pants. Okay. Eric, you weren't the one asking to have your mind. Oh,
I was also the one not paying attention, apparently. So
there you go. But yeah, that wouldn't have, because those are two different time periods. But you're right. You're right. He did actually write a good Silver Surfer. Dominic.
I thought he wrote good ones before, but they were just very, well, like you said, whiny.
Dominic Powell says Conan Hawk from Michael Turner's Fathom. All righty. And how about you, Eric? What do you have for your number 5?
Let's go with the only villain not named Arcade that modern Marvel kids know. The man that escaped from the California Raisins family tree, Thanos.
Okay.
He was in one issue. You got the first appearance of Thanos, Drax, and the Blood Brothers.
Oh my gosh, the Blood Brothers. I gotta say they're a little bit overshadowed there, aren't they?
Hey, I'm just trying to round out the foursome. Why that could have been.
I could be doing anything right now.
I could be. I don't know what, but I could be doing it. No, I obviously at this point, Thanos, like it or not, has ascended to the top of Marvel's villain pantheon, although he'll never be Doom. But Doom hasn't been Doom for years.
That's true. That's true. Dr. Doom hasn't been Dr. Doom for a long time, and Thanos has recently just been proving that, yeah, Darkseid is better than him. Thank you very much. So, yeah. But no, Thanos, obviously, you know, he at least... Say again?
I'm trying to remember who all... I know Drax is on the cover of Iron Man 55. Oh, and excuse me, the Blood Brothers are on the cover. They were deemed more important than that purple whatever guy that. So there.
Brandon, the conversation today is top 10 characters, comic book characters that did not appear on the cover of their first appearance. So while Spawn, hands down, may be the best comic book to you, not exactly topic, but there you go, man.
And he was on the cover of his first appearance.
He was. He was. That's all the cover was, hey, there's Spawn. So there you go. Let's see. We have Aquaman being mentioned by Aqualad of Atlantis. And no one beats Doom, says Ash. And Zdarsky did a good Doom book in XFF. I thought it was all right. Tim Drake says Aqualad, but you got to number these things. If you want that to be your number 4, put it on number 4. All righty. Let's go with number 4. And yeah, we talked about the comic book before, but let me pull this background up again because I've got to go back to More Fun Comics, number 73. Not only the first appearance of, can you imagine having this and then just keeping it and realizing, oh my gosh, both of these characters, how is this not $1 million book, Eric? I have no idea, because not only is it the first appearance of Green Arrow, it's the first appearance of one of my favorite DC superheroes, Aquaman. How is this book not just off the freaking charts? Well, I guess it is.
I said, it's not like you're getting it with pocket change there, brother.
Yeah, I guess, you know, you have, like, say, Superman, which is a 10, Batman, which is a 10, Wonder Woman, which is a 10. This is 2 5s. maybe that's a 10. Yeah, there you go. No, I love the character, obviously. You guys know that. Both Eric and I have said there is no bad comic book run of Aquaman. I myself would recommend Time and Tide if you're looking for a story for like one mini series of Aquamans. I love that one. I would also say pick up the Dan Abnett run, which I was saying every gosh darn issue of that. So
you said there's no bad Aquaman run?
Okay, if you get to knock out an entire decade, I could knock out 25 issues.
just use magic.
Exactly. If Marvel doesn't exist from 2011 until now, I could say that Kelly Sue DeConnick's freaking run on Aquaman does not exist. The Dan Abnett Aquaman run ended with that whole JLA Undersea or whatever it was called. And you know what? That's when that Aquaman run quit. That quit. That was when it was over. No need to go forward. Yeah, but there you go. Yes, we already had that conversation, Ash. I feel like Tim Drake was my punishment for voting on Robin's. Tim Drake was a good character. I like Tim Drake. He gets buried now, and unfortunately, that's about it. So yes, Kelly Sue DeConnick's run on Aquaman was not good. So you have that at least. But yes, my pick for number 4, Aquaman. How about you? What do you have? What's your number 4?
Well, might as well get used to this raggedy old book one more time.
All righty.
Who is not on this cover?
Well, I picked Silver Surfer.
And I will get to him, but for now, The Eater of Worlds, Galactus.
All righty.
Think about that. All that future, not even worthy of being on the cover.
Yeah, just they didn't know. They didn't know. Here we go.
I said it was just, and that was just in the second half of issue 48 because the first half was wrapping up the Inhuman storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So he creates Galactus and Silver Surfer in half of an issue of Fantastic Four.
Wow, now it would be 19 different. Yeah, we made that joke, but that is so true.
Oh, think of all the variant covers you'd get out of that now.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? It would be Cloud Galactus. It would be Skirt Galactus, Pants Galactus, Silver Surfer and holding the board, Silver Surfer riding the board, Silver Surfer riding the board and his arms stretch out because it was drawn by Riley Rosmo.
Silver Surfer giving other people rides on the board.
Silver Surfer action figure cover.
Galactus riding the board.
Galactus riding Silver Surfer while on the board. I kind of went dark there.
Anything I say now would not be. I'm just going to bore my mouth up.
There you go. All righty, number these up there, Aqualad. We're making a top 10 list, and your votes will count. Just want to get them in there. Let's see. There's nothing I've read that says he's been. Yeah, I don't get that either. But if you guys do have number 4s, that would be awesome. So I could put those down. But as of now, I guess. We did get a couple of them. I just mentioned them. Number 4 for Dominic was Apocalypse. All right, we talked about him a little bit. Let's see, number 4 for Zach. Oh, here's a poll, The Wrecking Crew. That's not bad. Especially, I like The Wrecking Crew back in the day, seriously, because after a while, they're just, here's a new hero. They need somebody to beat up. They do The Wrecking Crew.
Well, actually,
are you reaching into the magic bag to pull it? Oh, okay.
They're on the last page of Defender 17, but their first appearance is considered to be this.
Really?
Why? Yes. And the record been around as a Thor villain for years.
Yes. So are we calling BS on Zach's go back to the well on Zach's thing? Is that what you're doing? Are you fact checking Zach Richards?
I think Zach's last comment makes it abundantly clear.
I missed it. Was it? Damn you, Breen.
Well, he said it nicer. He's
okay. Damn you, Breen. How about that? I'm excited for Tim Drake. Wait, is that actually something that happened?
Yeah, well, they intimated that he is bi now.
Oh,
but we'll see if it lasts longer than the next 15 days.
Who isn't? I mean, at this point, I'm. What am I going to say? Here you go, guys. Look, independent comic book. It's awesome, and they're not going to break your heart. Marvel and DC, they're just going to break your heart. Unless you're reading what? Back issues. Seriously. Independent comic books, they are whoever the creators' politics are, if they want to put politics into them. You don't have to worry about your comic book heroes being destroyed if you know you're reading books before 2013.
And for everybody that says, well, that doesn't destroy the characters, it gives them more depth. Then why is it so important to you?
Exactly. Joe Rogers says number 4 is Catwoman. But at this point in time, this is where I'm going at. You and I, we got a couple of episodes to do. We haven't done 4-color fossils.
Can I answer a question real quick before we move on?
What?
MK is asking, what is Beckstar? Beckstar is an independent comic book written by Joe Corallo, who I do videos with every Monday. Got it, read it, liked it, plan on getting the last 4 issues, which was really good. I'm glad I legitimately liked it because that might have been awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the art. I mean, the art's kind of Tumblrite art to me, but the story is fun.
On one hand, I appreciate getting comic books from friends who've got their. On the other hand, sometimes I'm like, you don't want me to review this.
Oh, I actually asked my LCS to get it in. It turned out they'd had it the whole time.
Oh, that's funny.
So
I wasn't a big fan of columns, and I like the dude. You know, come on. I could go through it and break it down a little bit more, but I didn't want to do a full review breaking down his comic book. So Doug actually asked me to be very honest. So when I was asked to talk about it, I talked about it in full. I thought it was good, but you could tell it was by a first-time writer. I don't like it so much because it's like, now I've gotten to the point where I tell people, if you send me your book and you really want me to review it, you better make sure that it's up to par, because my loyalty is to the viewer. On this channel, I love Doug's good friend. I met him in real life, and I hope he comes back, or we meet again. But I had to say what I had to say. With the same thing with columns, the same thing when I read the first issue of Cyberfrog. No matter what, I've got to be honest. So yeah, I get that feeling when you're like, oh, thank goodness it was good.
and it's subjective, by and large. I mean, I wouldn't let one. If I wrote something and gave it to a friend to read and they didn't like it, I wouldn't dissuade me necessarily.
Okay. Oh, number 4 from Jimmy. Oh, this is a good poll. It's a side character, but it works, and that's Rick Jones.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. I've been looking all over the county looking for shops that have back issues older than the 90s. Can't find anything. Damn, that's sad. Yeah. Let's see. Comic Cork says, "Did you read mine?" I didn't know you did one. September literally smooched Wonder Girl after. Yeah, he's not gay. It's at this point you just come on. But yeah, we'll talk about it. Did you get my number 4, John Constantine? Yes, I did. Here, I got John Constantine, Catwoman, Rick Jones. Let's go on to number 3. All righty. And we did this one as well. And you convinced me. He deserves to be on here. He deserves to be on any list when you're talking about big comic book characters. And when you're talking about big comic characters not on the cover, I guess more than almost any, you got to talk about Archie Andrews and Pep, issue number 23. Dun, dun, dun. And this would be cover to issue number 23. I was about to say, you're reaching over. If you pull out a first appearance of Archie,
no,
retire.
Is it 22 or 23?
It's 23. And we did this first appearance on our first appearance Fridays. Those things are a lot of fun. We are discovering that while we're not actors, Puppeteen is. So check it out just for that. A lot of fun. Archie was a bit of a not a nice guy, and Betty is a bit of a child. So there were a few things that we were surprised about it, but it was a good time. It's a lot of fun to be had reading that issue. And can we possibly overestimate Archie as an independent character? Archie is his impact on comics. Out of this one 8-page story, an empire was built. It did happen before, but he was on the cover of his first appearance.
And that would be
Superman. I'm talking about an impact in
okay. I got it. Okay.
Yeah. Off of an 8-page story. Archie could have been just a throwaway.
That might have been the intent.
Yeah, because if you look at comic books in the 1940s, 1950s, they were in mostly anthologies, and you had all sorts of comic books, all sorts of crazy teenagers, all sorts of kids doing crazy kid things. For some reason, this one hit.
Yeah, I don't know how many, if any, preceded Archie, but it sure did lead to a flood of imitators to varying degrees of success. But yeah, it's like I said, if you have a comic character Mount Rushmore,
he's got to be on it.
He's got to be fighting Wonder Woman for that 4th spot.
There you go. Let's see. We have number 3 from Joseph Pulford being Venom. Good to know. A couple of these are getting double picks. Green Arrow from Zach Richmond. All righty, and we've got number 3 is for the Joker, and that is from Joe Rogers. And Into Disguise says Joker should be number 1. No, he shouldn't. You get number 3 for Comic Works, Jane Foster. I think he's just picking side characters. Like, oh wait, this first appearance, who was in that one? Jane Foster. All righty. And then we go with, let's see, watching Sleeping Beauty right now. Back when Disney made good movies, back when Walt was in charge. That would be Jungle Book for the animateds, and a movie that wasn't all that great, I believe, called Bon Voyage was the last ones to have the Disney stamp. But there you go. Love when she turns into a dragon. Wait, I missed that. Dan Didio hired a woman who called him racist for using an Asian name, then wrote a Filipino character because all Asians can write Asians, and named her. Is that real? What? Dominic says number 3, Gamora, and Zach says did I get your number 4? I believe I did. Did I not read it off?
I don't know if Robert's story. I know that's how Alyssa Wong got her job at Marvel, because that's what she did to CB Cebulski.
I knew it happened to him. No, I didn't, Zach. I got the Wrecking Crew, which was debunked. So what's your new number 4? Dr. Midnight. All right. Got it. All right.
Now I thought I was going to get a 5-on-1 beatdown from Zach and his.
I know you debunked his choice. Are you kidding me? I changed my number 3. Number 3 is Moondragon. Okie dokie. Moondragon. And I just spelled it with an A. Why the freaking hell did I? It's Moondrogan. Anyway, I put the O and the A in the wrong places. That's how my brain works sometimes.
Yeah, and it was Madame McEvil in her first
There you go.
appearance.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Her first appearance was as Madame McEvil, Daredevil 105. It was Dr. Midnight since Breen canceled out my Wrecking Crew. Yep. New Captain American ripoff is named after genitals. All right. I'm better with that now. I am A-okay with it, tell you the truth. I also don't believe in the whole bit where you have to be a certain race to write certain races. It just seems really stupid. Plus, I would think that much like Christopher Priest, or right now Mags Visaggio is going through it, you want to write other characters. You want to do other things. So why be that person? Oh, you're gay, so you got to write a gay comic. And I'll tell you this. If you guys didn't see it yet, I did a review of Pride yesterday. They should never give Sanaa Grace another pen. He is the most offensive things to gay. I feel offended for gay people. I'm not gay. Anytime Sanaa Grace writes anything, I feel offended for gay people. That man is so anti-gay, and he is gay. It's I don't know.
Well,
how many?
I said he's the product of, we're living in a time where if you are high up on the victim progressive stack, the only things you're allowed to hear are how wonderful you are. You are completely immune and inoculated from criticism. And some of these people don't realize that that's the case. So I'm sure he thought he turned in 4 pages of Alan Moore.
Maybe. Hendricks is saying he's read Sanaa Grace that doesn't involve sexuality. It isn't half bad. But we have noticed that some people, they leave the big two and improve. Erica Henderson is possibly the biggest case of this that I've seen. Ready? Let's see. Tim Drake as Red Robin, says Aqualad. Once again, okay, that's number 4. All right, gotcha. All right. Ba-ba-ba. Okay, and let's see. I forget what story is, but it's like a 1 issue or miniseries. I think Cine Grace has good page in Marvel. All righty. And Alpha is saying, I can't do lists. I don't know enough. Well, you know, we're not always doing stuff like this. This one, there was a little homework too. But when we do stuff like we did the best and worst Avengers, if we ever do the best and worst X-Men, best and worst Justice League or something along those lines, by all means, join in. At least thank you for joining the conversation. That's very nice of you, Alpha. All righty, so that's the 3s. What about the 2? What about number 2?
I didn't do number 3 yet.
You didn't number that. Well, let's do your number 3.
Silver Surfer.
All righty.
Another crossover with your list. Pretty much same thing. I said, he just happens to show up in a panel. And I'm sure Stan said, who the hell is this? And he goes, well, I don't know. I said, well, let's call him Silver Surfer. He's silver and he's on a surfboard. And I said, name stuck. Yeah, I said it. And here, he's survived 56 or so years later. But I said, couldn't even fit him in the background, flying around like a gnat around Watcher's head. Just wasn't. I don't think he was on the cover of 49, was he? I can't remember.
No, 49 was the Galactus hands one. Yeah.
And then they used him on the cover of number 50.
Number 50. Yep. So, he didn't show up for his first 2. Michael Holt is Mr. Terrific, says Zach Richmond.
Entertain the troops. I'll be back in 1 minute.
All righty. How do I run one of these without a co-star, co-host, or anything like that? Let's see. What we got here is Michael Holt is Mr. Terrific, or we could talk about, of course, the Silver Surfer once again, and his contributions. I honestly do believe that he should be bigger. And yes, I do love the origin story of how he was created. Also, by the way, Galactus had the G on him, and he was like, what's the G stand for? God. Mr. Terrific, I think, is somebody I would love to see elevated as well, which is number 2 from Zach Richmond. We'll get to our number 2, as I guess we'll read off yours first. Comic Quirk saying John Constantine. Somebody who, by the way, if you haven't read that run of Swamp Thing, it's incredible. He appears in Swamp Thing as Swamp Thing's body had been destroyed, and he's a little. I actually did a video on this channel about the first. Check out Comic Book Origins, and you'll see him. But the Swamp Thing's a little sprout. And he's growing, and as he is, Constantine's coming in and out and kind of giving him advice. And for a while, Constantine was actually the advisor to Swamp Thing. Always a little bit of a douchebag, though, and that's one of the things I think why a lot of 80s people, 80s audiences kind of gravitated towards John Constantine. Best and worst JSA would be kind of cool, says Zach. I think that's a great suggestion, by the way. I'll just remind people, Taskmaster was in a comic book before his cover appearance. He did have a cameo appearance, if I remember correctly, in the Avengers. Aquaman is Joe Rogers, number 2. All righty, and you know what I said about him. Let's see, and then we've got Silver Surfer as Joseph Pulford's number 2. All righty. Let's see. I didn't come prepared, but I got a top pick for this list based on what I've read of comics, which is limited. All righty, Hendrix. When we get to whatever number, make sure you just number them up so I know where to put them. Let's see. What about a list, assuming you haven't done it, of the most effective legacy, mantle, inheritor characters? That we'll just call it. Yeah, okay, I get it. Legacy characters. All righty. Yeah, that's actually not a bad one. Like, was there somebody who took over the name and actually ended up being good at the job rather than, say, a Ms. Marvel? So anyway, when you hired for, okay. Let's see, popping in towards the end of a live stream, I'll listen on the rewatch to vote for my top 10, says Maranya. All righty, and hello to you, Maranya. What if you guys did a night where you did top 3 best DC stories ever and top 3 best Marvel stories, either an event or just general story arc in general? I would actually just do one for Marvel and one for DC, unless we kind of did them as a battle.
Funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
That's what we did yesterday. I did a my top 10 Marvel stories.
Oh, you're whoring around. Dominic says number 2 is John Constantine. Okay. we do joke. We do joke with Eric about being a co-host whore, or maybe top 3 and worst 3 comics ever. That now the thing is, I can't find. I actually read a worst comic book ever, and by this I mean it was the worst comic book ever. But it was in the 90s. It was this self-published comic book that somebody did. It was one of those long kind of things, and I'm reading it through it. It is the worst writing. One line of dialogue that I will always remember was. At the end, it said, "And with the sun and the moon between them." Think about that for a moment. With the sun and the moon between them, they travel off into the distance of apparently in opposite directions, jackasses. Because the millions and millions of miles.
I believe that's where the utopian parallel is, isn't it?
There you go. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Surfer is on 49.
He is?
Yeah, he's flying between Galactus's hands.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Number 2 for Hendrix is John Kent. All righty. And let's see. The Saga of the Swamp Thing, number 37 for John Constantine's first appearance. Yep. And Jumbo called us out. I dig that, man. I always say the comment section is always smarter than anyone on the panel, at the very least, because most of the time we're not Googling stuff. So if we forget something, you guys can always, wait a second, that didn't sound right. You got it wrong. I think it's awesome. Let's see. I like the top 10 legacy characters. Shazam should get a special mention, at least for most involvement by lawyers. Yeah. All righty. Let's go to our number 2. Would you like to start us off this time?
All right. Prince Namor, the Submariner.
Brought up before.
His first appearance in Marvel Comics number 1. That gelatinous blob in the left-hand corner was actually the Human Torch.
I'm sorry. I was never the Torch.
Oh, yeah. That's my bad. When I was confirming that, because I was pretty sure that he wasn't on the cover, he was actually in some kind of World's Fair giveaway comic, also. But
yeah, it was not. It was, but it was considered like the what do they call those? Like they'll put out almost like a newsprint version of it.
Yeah,
Ash can. That's the word I'm trying to remember.
I thought that was kind of interesting, but Marvel Comics is his number 1, is his official first appearance. It's amazing that title has lasted 1,000 issues, as was celebrated last.
Oh yes, it absolutely lasted 1,000 issues.
It's not quite as accurate as Detective or Action 1,000, but it's still, I mean, what an achievement.
Yes, what an achievement for Marvel! Freaking yeah, that did yes. 1,000. I hate that. I hate that.
Here come the Germans.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. No. I couldn't find a cover right away, but there you go. That is the first actual appearance of Namor. There you go. I hate the freaking stupid numbering. I get it. Now, if you put issue number 3, the 100th issue of a certain character or something like that, fine. Okay. If you want to say, hey, this is the 1,000th appearance of Batman in Detective Comics, okay, I'm with you. But there's no issue of Detective Comics 1000, and there most definitely isn't an issue of a comic book that was canceled 100 freaking years beforehand, and they said, you know what, fine, let's do 1,000 because go yourself. All right, Marvel, go yourself, and DC, Dan Didio especially, can go screw himself, because there is no 1,000 of Action Comics. There is no 1,000 of Detective Comics. It's volume freaking 3. They screwed it up.
And kids, this is him not talking about it.
Yes, that is true. That is true. This is me not.
You should hear when he really gets going.
We're not talking about it. No. But Namor, absolutely. I mean, he was one of the first, and he was literally one of the first 2 for Marvel. So absolutely deserves his place on a list. And my yelling got Twiddle started. So shh.
Oh, that's a win-win for all of us.
I try to settle him down a little bit. Shut up, Bird. Shut up, Bird. All right. There we go. Okay. Shush. All right. My number 2, we're going to go right back to this cover right here, and we're going to talk about the fact that on this iconic cover right behind me here, nowhere is the Joker. The Joker just doesn't appear. I did my top 3, by the way, in order of what I think their importance is within comics as my list dictates. And the Joker, if they only knew, right? He should have been on this comic book cover. I mean, he's so iconic, so amazing, one of the greatest villains of all time, to the point of, I absolutely agree, he's way overused these days, but there's a reason for it. He should be, in my opinion, used very sparingly, though. He should be the nightmare. They talk about him being the nightmare, but he's here too often. We as readers are getting used to him, and that should never happen. And it should be, holy crap, here comes the Joker. Let's see what he's got. Let's show what kind of evil they do. And instead, I think they go for a little bit more shock value now than any kind of sense of horror. And I think he really should be a horror character. But that's just my opinion. Where do you stand?
No, I agree. If I were still reading new comics, I would be ready for a couple-year sabbatical from the Joker.
Yeah. Now, if you think about it, Joker didn't appear for a few years before his appearance in 1970s. He was on the TV show, but there was a couple of years where he had just disappeared. They stopped using him. Then all of a sudden he shows up, and Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil makes him a dangerous character again. And that's the way he started off. And I'm very happy that they did that. Damn straight Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams saved this character. All righty. So, Eric, drum roll. Who do you have? What is your number 1?
Well, we have the same one, and this is your show, sir. So I'm going to defer to you.
So you think we have the same one?
We better.
Okay.
Unless Ambush Bug wasn't on the cover of his first appearance, I think we do.
Yeah, Ambush Bug definitely deserves to be on any list. But like I said, after a while, I was thinking of importance to comic books, importance to the industry. And there's one character did not appear in the first appearance. And that was just one thing. As a matter of fact, only one page, much like Wolverine, only one page in the comic book. But you know what? It's considered the first appearance. You Hulk 181, know nothings. I'm just kidding about that. But the person I pick is Wonder Woman. That's the #1 comic book character to not appear on their first appearance in comic books. Do we have the same one?
Yes, we have the same one.
All righty. Yes. I mean, come on. She was made by, oh, well, let's not get into him, but she was made in order for girls to have that hero to look up to. And it looks like Spectre is very surprised to see me right now. But she was made for that purpose, and she just blew up. Granted, part of it might have been because while she was made for that purpose, she was also written as a little bit of tantalization for the gentleman who would be overseas at war. Because, of course, the only way you could make her lose her powers is by putting her in bondage.
And she lost her powers a lot in those early days.
Oh, yeah, most definitely she did. But over time, she just grew. She became a feminist icon to the point where when Denny O'Neil decided he was going to show off the fact that Wonder Woman was a badass, kick-ass character by removing her powers and showing that she could still run with the big boys. Oh, by the way, I'm going to do that thing that you do. There you go. That she could run with the big boys. Oh, look at that. The feminists got mad. Why did you depower Wonder Woman? Why did you take that away from her? He thought he was doing a great thing when it just pissed people off. Of course, I really was introduced to Wonder Woman. Yeah, I read the first one page, but Wonder Woman never thrilled me until she was embodied, until I saw her live action. And then it was like, oh, okay. And you want to talk about, she didn't need to be in bondage to tantalize. Yeah, I was, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a heterosexual then. Okay, fine. But absolutely fantastic. And to me, she was never made better as to when George Perez got to her. I know you're not a big fan of the writing on that one, but that, in my opinion, set off Wonder Woman really being a character. I think she was just written, not just with George Perez, but what that run did, and then the way she was written afterwards. I think that's when she really, in my opinion, took off.
No, that's fair, because that was a new Wonder Woman for a new DC universe. Mm-hmm. So he basically got to create her you got to mold her from clay. See what I did there? Personally, I mean, I liked some of the other runs that came after that a little better, because I'm not all that interested in the Themyscirian lore. I think he might have trafficked in that a little bit too much for me, but there's no denying it was a great run. I mean, I've never tried to deny that. But have you ever read the Denny O'Neil run?
I don't know. I may. You got to tell me what numbers. Oh, you mean what I'm looking at right here?
Yeah. 181 to.
Yeah, I read that. I actually didn't. I like it.
I liked it.
It got put down and everything because it's not Wonder Woman, but it's not bad.
It got put down because someone decided it was so I figured, okay, the feminists didn't like it. They changed it back. He's apologized for it. So it's okay to kick that run while it's down. Mm-hmm. I bet most of the people that criticize it have not read it.
I could see that. I can see that. Oh, Zach, I was about to put that one on my list. He almost made it. But yeah, you cannot. I mentioned this about Archie, but you cannot understate or overstate, I should say, Wonder Woman's importance in the comic book thing. In the comic book world. One of the we talk about the Mount Rushmore, and there's not enough faces. That's the problem with Mount Rushmore. There's just not enough faces as far as that's concerned. You would need Wonder Woman up there as well if you're doing justice. You would need more than just that. You would have to have the Trinity. You would have to have Archie. You would have to have Spider-Man. Maybe throw in the Yellow Kid. Something like that. It's just way too many. You can't have just 4. And even if you were to think about it right now today, who would be on that Mount Rushmore of even presidents and political figures? Would all of them really make it, or would it be different?
That's funny. Okay, in 2021, Wonder Woman gets that 4th spot, no question.
Yeah,
TV, movies, blah blah blah. If you had done this when we started collecting in the mid 70s,
yeah,
Archie's definitely on there, because that was, he was a juggernaut in those days. I mean, that is no longer the case. So there was a time when every kid in America knew who Archie was. That's not the case any longer.
Yeah,
but everybody knows who Wonder Woman is.
No one picked MJ. Mary Jane, yeah, not tonight.
She was my honorable mention. I had that on the list, but I wanted to go with only one non-superhero or villain character.
Martian Manhunter. I had.
You got mentioned.
He would have been on my honorable mentions. I mentioned that earlier. Aqualad says, let me go through some of these here. Let me find all of them, and then I'll go through. All right. Number ones. The first one I have here is Aqualad from Aqualad. Aquaman teams up with Aqua Boy. Let's see. I forgot Hellboy was on the cover of his first appearance. Not really, because we had this discussion. He was in a comic. His first appearance is actually a European Comic-Con thing. But I don't know. We got to talk about this. Do covers only count as first appearances? I forgot to do. Number one from Comic Works. I think he's sucking up to you there, but that's Americ Chavez. Didn't appear on Vengeance. Number one from Aqualad. We already read that. Aqualad. I think he made one of the most ridiculous villains list and book on Amazon. Wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind doing that. Zach says Ultron is his number one, which I almost had him on my list too. He's one of my honorable mentions. Comic Works, I guess, is changing his by going with Hellboy. All righty. Talking about San Diego Comic-Con number 2. Let's see. How about a story where the Joker is the Kaiser Soze of Gotham? Yeah, something like that. Joker working as maybe almost as mythological as Batman should have been. That would work. Let's see. Aqualad, my first introduction to Aqualad was a cheesy 70s cartoon with Aquaman. There you go. Alrighty, so Hellboy was on that European dime press number 4. Maybe that's what I was thinking. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. I don't know. I say Archie should get the 4th spot. That way, all 3 of the last Golden Age companies is showcased, says Joe Rogers. Archie was a juggernaut, not Jughead. Ha! Says Indie Comic Jones. All righty. I gave him a number 1 farther up the chat, but I can repeat it. Tim Drake says Hendrix. All righty. And I will write that down, sir. He's got a couple of mentions here. So he might actually be high on the list. I mean, I get it. I get why this wasn't as popular as the other ones. Like I said, this one, this is probably, if I'm going to do something like this again, I really do have to put out a couple of things on the community tab. Hey guys, make sure you're looking up so-and-so. I do feel weird when I do it. It's like giving my viewers homework. Hey guys, make sure you're checking out this. You know, it's like, what was the other one? Top 10 legacy characters was the last suggestion, where I was like, oh, wow, okay. What do you think?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, now when we say legacy characters, we're not talking about sidekicks. We're talking about people who take over the we're talking about people who take over the role from the.
Yeah, because when Marvel did that, they were giving all of the names to their younger characters.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to me, Azrael as Batman is a legacy character.
Okay, but Azrael is not.
No, but it's like if you did time as would you consider James Rhodes a legacy character for the time he was Iron Man?
No, I wouldn't, because he's War Machine now. Maybe that's I guess that's kind of weird. That's rules and parameters here. Ironheart is her own character, but she was always called Ironheart, even in Iron Man. So I don't think she counts as a legacy character.
I mean, are there 10 characters that have completely taken over somebody's, like, is Wally West?
Yeah, because I don't think he stopped being the Flash. Even when he came back, he never stopped being the Flash. He was just a Flash from another universe, even in Rebirth.
Then so I think is Barry Allen also a legacy character then?
That's Al Jordan. I know, right? Actually, yes. You would have to think that is a actually, but I think they do fit, don't they? Because they are taking from the Golden Age version of them. You know what? Why don't we do this? And how about we open this debate up? Since we are having it, this will be next week's list, guys. We're going to talk about legacy character, but let's talk about some rules. Oh, wait. Actually, I would say Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, is not a legacy character, but maybe the Flash is. But we'll talk about this. What do you guys think? Would they actually count as legacy characters, or are they original characters? I state that Green Lantern is an original character because of his origin. He is absolutely separated from how Alan Scott got his lantern, from the weaknesses. And I really do believe that was a brand new character, not just in name only. The Flash, he's got super speed. Put the same costume on him, he is exactly the same guy. Green Lantern is not. He has a whole new origin, whole new job in the DC universe. So I would count him as an original character. Same with the Atom. The Atom was super strong, but he was a small guy and he didn't shrink.
See, they both charge the ring using a lantern. They both have a weakness. The ring each has a weakness, and they both can pretty much do anything with those rings. I would call Hal Jordan a legacy character.
Okay, all righty. Once again, though, I'm leaving it up to the crowd here. Let's see. I leave it to you gentlemen to decide what's a legacy character you're more knowledgeable. But I think once you pin down the parameters, maybe it'll be a good topic. It says Unicyclopeon. Let's see. Top 10 legacy characters that graduated to their own identity outside of the legacy. Dick Grayson was Batman for a time, but let's see. And Alien and Jordan are legacy, yes. Or Alan and Jordan are legacy, says Ash. So he's agreeing with it. Let's see. What about legacy characters who take over for heroes who are deceased? Isn't that what a legacy hero actually is? Or who gave up, or who just aren't as active? Because all characters are brought back for a little bit. Alan Scott's still around, even though we have Green Lantern. Let's see. I think the best legacy characters are the ones that eventually turn into their own characters because they end up forming their own identity. Would that include people like Ms. Marvel? And would that include because it's hard for me to see Ironheart as a legacy character. Blue Beetle.
Well, twice. Ted Cord from Dan Garrett and Jaime Reyes from
and you could pick you could pick either one or none, of course,
or both.
Let's see. What about Mr. Terrific? Yes, I would consider him a legacy character. Yep. By that logic, Falcon isn't legacy Captain America. Hal is legacy. I don't know. I guess Falcon Cap would be. Let's see. I view legacy characters as characters that build upon the foundation of others who came before him. By that logic, yeah, Falcon doesn't make the list. Even though Alan Scott is not a member of the Green Lantern Corps, he was made an honorary member in their ranks by the Guardians. England team, did I get your number one? What was your number one? I think I did. I think I wrote down everybody's. Robin equals not legacy. Dick Grayson is Batman equals legacy. Yes. Good debate, though. I like this. I think a legacy character is someone who carries on the name after the original is dead or / unable to continue. But that brings up Wally West in modern day now. Well, see, he was the Flash during his time. He was a legacy character.
Well, that would also bring up James Rhodes, because Tony was.
I guess you're right then. I guess you're right. We'll have to. Here's the thing. I think what I'm going to do is here's the rules. Write down what you want. There you go. Write down who you want. We'll worry about it when we get to it. You know, let's have fun with it. Too many. Well, obviously, the actuallys is not as fun. But let's just keep it open, because there you go. Would X-23 be a legacy character? No, I think she would be very much like Robin. Oh wait, but she took the name of Wolverine, but she was her own character.
Yeah, and a lot of times, she was never Wolverine by herself. Like, at least like Rhodes was, Iron Man, because there was no Iron Man if not for him.
X-23 was Wolverine because they were like, hey, we should make a girl Wolverine.
Right, and Logan was there the whole time. So I don't know. I mean, but then again, if you want to use that, who are we to say?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's the way we should go.
Yeah.
It's your list. If you think they're legacy characters.
That's right. No, Zach is right. Yeah, Wolverine croaked off for a while.
There you go.
So, yeah, she was. But and the suit finally fit perfectly.
So I guess, yeah, if you want to put Robin as Batman, go on ahead. It's your list. I don't know how I'm going to approach this one, but I think more than likely it will be. I don't know if I would put Barry Allen as a legacy character, even though he was. I do see Wally West, but not Barry Allen for some reason, personally.
Wait a second. Wolverine wasn't dead. Those didn't happen. I almost forgot. You almost got me.
Yeah. No, T'Challa is not legacy because of T'Chaka, because T'Chaka now we're getting into the actuallys that I was talking about. Actuallys is bullshit.
Well, actually, there was an issue of World's Finest Comics where Batman found out that his dad was Batman first, and
that's actually true, by the way. And no, Batman is not a legacy character because T'Chaka didn't exist before T'Challa did. So yeah, no backlogging. Oh my gosh, look, Batman had this new friend called the Ghost. Bullcrap. Not that I'm angry at that storyline, but really it's bullcrap. Come on.
The Germans are loading the bombs onto the planes again.
It is bullcrap. It is. It's crap. How many freaking people right now? Batman has now been trained by the entire world, or trained with. And there's so many fighters now. Batman was supposed to have just dedicated his life because of this. And now we're finding out that other people did it. Why? Because he needed a villain. It's ridiculous. It's getting so freaking stupid out there. Ooh, nice cover. But it really is. It's getting stupid out there with all this stuff. Ghost is I want a Batman with Batman in it. Can we have that, please? Can that happen? Please.
Wait a minute. Let me check. No.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Technically, Thor is legacy because his father was. See, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Now we do need things. Okay. Here's the thing. No, there is no technically. There is no actually. That's bullshit. Okay, so if in issue number 400 of a title, they go in the back and say, oh, look, once upon a time there was 1 million BC, it doesn't retroactively make somebody a goddamn legacy character. That doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. Okay. how to distinguish the difference between a popular character, a legacy character nowadays. If someone considers Ginger Wally West a legacy, but not the Black Wally, are they racist? Well, I guess no. I would see Black Wally West, in all honesty, as an original character because he's absolutely, because they're not saying that the identity of Wally West wasn't taken as part of being a hero. Wally West was rewritten. So that character is an original character. Holy crap, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this list. It's like I feel like I'm going on. Dad, yeah. Why is there air? Well, so we can breathe, honey. Why do we need to breathe? Well, we can live. So, Dad. Yes, wait, what? Well, then why do we drink? Well, same reason, honey. Who made water? Well, God did, honey. How did he make water? Shut up. Just have faith for faith. Yeah, that's a great rule. No retcon legacy. Yeah. I sense this next top 10 will be long and confusing stream. Yeah, just leave well actually out of the way, okay? Sorry, maybe it was a bad idea. Maybe do it a month from now after it all settles. Yeah, apparently we got the well actuallys, and it might have been because I said, hey guys, no well actually. So I know you guys love to do that to me. Wally isn't the legacy the Flash is. Exactly. But there you go. All right, so there you go, gang. That's the lists. Once again, if you have made it this far in and you haven't made a list, make sure you're going to the comments, leave your list there because they will be counted. They will be counted for the video that I'm going to be doing over on Old Man Comics. Make sure you're checking that out. Please go check out in about a half an hour. There will be a review video dropping for the first issue of Static Season 1. I love it when they do that. Hey, it's Season 1 of Static. Yeah, I saw that. It's on freaking HBO Max. Now call your freaking comic book something else. Comics aren't seasons, ladies and gentlemen. Dominic, what's your number one? Before we go here. Number one, Domino. Okay, Domino. Did not appear.
Ash, there really is. I mean, you've sewn up the top spot for legacy character.
Kate Bishop. Well, that would be, see, except for the fact that Hawkeye truly did not exist until Kate Bishop.
That's right. We'd have to retcon that. So
yeah.
No, sorry, Ash. It's been Kate all along.
Well, actually, America Chavez would be a legacy character because originally she was called Miss America. All righty. So there you go. I got you down there, Dominic. Once again, gang, thanks for hanging out with us. And yes, next week will be top 10 legacy characters. After all this, we have to do it. Yeah, make your list and come on over, vote for it as always. Let's see.
And if you don't have well actually in the title.
Well, actually, these are,
that's right.
Thursday is
Fantastic Four. Are we doing that?
Yeah, we should be doing that. I'll make sure we're home. Gail and I have a day off together on Thursday. We're not going to be able to do anything tomorrow, so we're going to check that out tomorrow. Bit off topic question is Will Eisner related to Michael Eisner? Not that I know of, but I want top 10 worst legacy. You know what? We might do that after. But there you go. That's actually pretty cool. And I'll bring the Tylenol, says Zach. I don't know. Should be fun. Should be fun. So, yeah, please go check out Old Man Comics. Links in the description below. If you haven't subscribed there, that's where I do all sorts of, comic book videos and such like that. This is mainly for live streams nowadays. Top 10 genders. No, we're not doing that. Considering I can only get to 2. So, yeah. So anyway, go check that out. You'll see a review for the new static book that should be on shelves tomorrow. Thank you very much for hanging out with us as always. Thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.